Hi guys, today's project is going to be a fun stringing project. We're going to use a little bit of everything today. We're going to use some chain, we're going to use some suede lace, we're going to use some bead stringing wire. We're also featuring some really cool little triangle beads as well as some tube-shaped shell beads. Just a little bit of everything. This necklace is going to be perfect for the summertime. It's kind of got a beach vibe to it, so I hope you will enjoy it. Let's get to it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to make these components. We're going to make 7 of these, and then we're going to string these onto some bead stringing wire. Now you can see this is a combination of a couple of things. I've got 2 pieces of suede lace here. They are 3 1/4 inches long. They are connected with a cord end and 2 jump rings. One of these jump rings we're actually going to be stringing on. The other one is going to be where we attach our dangle. So we've got a really pretty shell bead. It's tube shaped. And then we have this really neat triangle bead, which you don't see very, very often. I thought this was a great way to incorporate kind of a different bead. All right, so let's put this little component together and then we'll start building our necklace. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your 2 pieces of suede lace, and like I said, these are 3 1/4 inches long, and we're going to take one of our cord ends. Now there's a lot of different cord ends out there, but I've got these exact ones in the description box if you would like to purchase these. I like these because they look like a little mouth. They've got some teeth on them, and they're the perfect width to hold 2 pieces of this suede lace. So we're going to take our suede lace and we're going to line it up, the ends up, and hold those together with our fingers. And then we're going to come in with some Hypo Cement. And mine is really, really messy at the top. I'm sure that if you've got some of this at home, yours is pretty messy too. You can see it's got a big glob on the end, but that's all right. Just kind of move that mess out of the way. We're going to put a little bit of glue right on the ends. And again, we're holding them nice and flush together. Okay, so we put a little strip of glue on that side, and then we're going to put a little strip of glue on the other side as well. Just a tiny little strip is all you need. And this is just to make extra security for that cord end. Get that closed up. All right, so now the easiest way to use the cord ends for me is to use my flat nose pliers, just because they have more surface area and they make a nice close on this cord end. So we're going to slide that cord end right over both ends of our suede lace, just like so. And you can see there's going to be a little bit of that suede coming out either side. That's okay, we don't care. And we're just going to line that up, make sure it's in the center, and use our flat nose pliers just to give it a squeeze and close that cord end over both pieces. Now if you've got some glue that came out, you can clean that up a little bit as well. The good thing about the Hypo Cement is that it dries clear, so you're not going to see it, which is really, really good. And it doesn't leave that haze that sometimes super glue can leave. Okay, so this is ready to go. We're going to sit this down for just a second. We don't need to trim it because we trimmed it ahead of time. It's ready to go. Now let's build the little dangle that goes on the top. We're going to use one of these tube beads and one of these triangles. We're going to need a head pin and an eye pin. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to thread our triangle bead onto a head pin. Okay. Whichever direction you want this to hang. If you want it to hang up and down, then this is the way to go, or you can flip it over so that your point is pointing downwards. Now we're just going to make a wrapped loop at the top of this. We're going to grab that right at the tip with our chain nose pliers and bend 90 degrees. Okay, now we're going to come in with our round nose pliers, grabbing that wire. Let me move this out of the way so you can really see. Okay, we're going to go up and over the barrel of the pliers, and then we're going to adjust our grip just a little bit to go ahead and continue to move that wire all the way around to make our nice loop. And now I'm going to put this back on the round nose pliers. I'm going to switch hands, and I'm going to take my chain nose pliers and grab that wire and wrap around, and I've got enough room for about 4 wraps here. and then we're going to trim off the tail. Okay. So I'm just going to come in with my flush cutter and trim that off. All right. Now we're going to sit this to the side for just a second because we're going to do our other bead. We've got our tube bead. We're going to thread this on to an eye pin. Okay, so we've got this loop at the bottom. Really important because we're going to attach it to that triangle bead here in just a second. We're going to do another wrapped loop at the top of this guy. So grabbing with your chain nose pliers, bending 90 degrees, and we're just going to follow the same steps that we did with the triangle, bringing in the round nose pliers, going up and over, adjusting the grip. I'm going to switch hands, and I'm going to do my wrapping with my chain nose pliers. You can use your fingers here. I just like to use the chain nose pliers because I feel like I have more control. Okay. And now we're ready to trim the tail. All right, now we're going to assemble all of these little things together. Okay, so to do that, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up this closed loop that's at the bottom. This is just the regular plain loop. This isn't the wrapped loop. We're going to very carefully open this guy up with a pair of chain nose pliers, and we're going to thread on our triangle bead. Okay, and then we're going to close that back very gently. Okay. And now we're ready to attach everything to our suede lace. We're going to need 2 jump rings to do that. So we're going to open up the first jump ring, and I'm going to bring in another pair of pliers. I like to use 2 pairs of pliers to open my jump rings instead of my fingernail. Okay, so I'm going to thread this on. You can see this cord end has a nice little loop at the top, which is perfect. We're going to thread on one of our 6mm jump rings, and then we're going to thread on a second 6mm jump ring, and we're going to close that up. Okay, this second 6mm jump ring that we have added, we're going to open this one up and we're going to thread on our little bead dangles. Okay, so these guys are going to hang right in front of our suede lace when we hold it by that first jump ring that we attached. Okay, so now we're going to make 6 more of these. Okay, so you want to have 7 of these total, and we're going to spread these out throughout our design. Okay, once you have all 7 of your little dangles with your suede lace and your beads created, it's time to get our bead stringing wire together. You're going to need about a 10-inch section of 49 strand. I'm using the silver color. You can use whatever color you want. I'm using the silver because it is a nice neutral. It goes with everything, and the findings that we're using are silver as well. Okay, you're going to thread on a number 1 crimp bead to the end of your bead stringing wire, and then we're going to use a wire guardian. We're going to thread the end onto our wire guardian, back down through the wire guardian, and down through that number 1 crimp bead as well. Okay, just giving myself a little bit of a tail here. See, there's not much. Okay, holding everything together, we're going to come in with our crimper pliers, or our crimper tool rather, and we're going to crimp. We're going to make sure before we put our bead in the crimper though that we want to be sure that these wires are running parallel and not crisscrossed inside that bead stringing, inside the crimp bead. So you're going to put that in the back notch of your crimping tool and give it a squeeze. Okay, and that's going to make your nice little bean shape out of your wires, and then you're going to take the same little crimp section, put it in that first notch of your pliers, and give it a squeeze to make your crimp bead nice and compact. Okay, now we want to take our cutter tool and trim off that tail, and we're ready to string on our beads. Now we're going to string on a pattern of these little spacer beads. These guys are a I believe they are 3mm. They're a silver bead and they've got a little bit of a decoration on them. Let me scoot these over here a little bit more so you can see them. Okay, they've got a little bit of a decorative imprint on them. Excuse me. You can use just plain round silver beads if you want to, or seed beads, makes no difference. But our pattern is going to be, we're going to thread on one of these silver beads right at the end. And then I have some more of these tube-shaped shell beads. We're going to thread on one of those and another one of our little decorative silver beads. Okay, and now we're going to thread on the jump ring, that first jump ring that's attached to the cord end. We're going to thread that one on. Okay, so you want to be careful not to accidentally thread the other one on that has your dangles attached to it. Okay, so we're going to thread that on. And we're going to thread on another one of our silver beads and a tube bead. And then I'm going to hold this up and show this to you so you'll see exactly what the pattern is. Okay, let me get everything out of the way here. All right, so you can see this is what the basic pattern is. We're going to have a silver bead, excuse me. We're going to have a silver bead, a tube bead, a silver bead, and then we've thread on our little dangles. Okay, and then another silver bead, a tube bead, and a silver bead. And we're just going to repeat that pattern until we have all 7 of our dangles, and we're going to end with a tube bead and a silver bead. Okay, we've got all of our beads and our dangles. Everything is strung on to our bead stringing wire. And now we're ready to add our crimp bead and our wire guardian at the other end of our necklace. And we're just going to follow the exact same steps that we did to start our strand. We're going to thread on that crimp bead and the wire guardian, and then we're going to crimp. All right, now that we've got both ends ready to go, we're almost completely finished with our necklace. Now this is where we're going to add some chain. This is going to be super, super easy. I've got some of this elongated, well, let me move this out of the way so you can see it. I've got some elongated cable chain. I've got 2 strands of this that are going to measure at about, let's see here, I've got it written down, 5.5 inches each. Okay, and that's without jump rings on either end, but we are going to add jump rings to both ends. So 2 sections of chain for this. We're going to add a 6mm jump ring to the very end of our chain, and then we're simply going to connect that to one of the wire guardians on the end of our necklace, and we're going to repeat this process on the other side, and that's going to be the end of our necklace. I've already attached the 6mm jump ring and lobster clasp to the other ends, and that's all there is to it. Super easy, really cool, funky, fun, summertime design that's going to definitely get you noticed this summer. Who does not love fringe? It's very beachy, very cool design, lots of fun. Zoom you out just a little bit. And incorporating these really cool triangle beads, which I don't see a lot of. So I thought this was a cute little design. I hope I have inspired you to create something of your own, maybe use some suede lace in your own designs. That's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I will see you guys next time.